She turned 23 this week, and almost nobody in the royal watching world noticed. Lady Margarita Armstrong-Jones celebrated her birthday on May 14, 2025. The granddaughter of Princess Margaret, a first cousin once removed of King Charles III. A young woman with royal blood running directly through her veins, and a name that barely registers in most conversations about the monarchy's next generation. While the world followed William and Kate's every public appearance, while commentators continued dissecting the Sussex situation from multiple angles, Lady Margarita went about her life with a quiet confidence that her family has carefully cultivated for decades. But here is what most royal watchers have missed. Lady Margarita Armstrong-Jones is not simply a forgotten footnote in the Windsor family tree. She is the living continuation of Princess Margaret's branch of the House of Windsor, and her 23rd birthday is the right moment to finally understand who she is. Here is the story. This is not just a birthday profile. It concerns one of the most quietly significant questions facing the modern monarchy. What becomes of the royal branches nobody watches? Princess Margaret spent her life caught between royal duty and personal freedom. Her marriage to Anthony Armstrong-Jones produced 2 children. Her son, David, now holds the Snowdon earldom. And Lady Margarita carries that legacy forward, not as a working royal, not as a headline generator, but as something genuinely rare inside the House of Windsor. A young woman who chose simply to live. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams told The Express in early 2025 that the quieter members of the extended royal family often go unappreciated, but that their discretion can serve the monarchy far better than public drama ever does. Lady Margarita fits that description precisely. Today, we are going to examine who Lady Margarita Armstrong-Jones actually is. We will look at her lineage and what she inherited from Princess Margaret's remarkable story. We will explore the life she has built away from the spotlight. And we will consider what her future may hold, and why the palace may one day look to her generation in ways it has not yet publicly acknowledged. To understand Margarita, you have to start with her grandmother. Princess Margaret Rose was born on August 21, 1930, the second daughter of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. She was, by almost every account, the more glamorous and unconventional of the 2 royal sisters. She fell in love with Group Captain Peter Townsend, a divorced man, and was told she could not marry him without forfeiting her royal status and income. She chose duty over love. That sacrifice defined her, and in many ways it defined everything that followed in her family. In 1960, Margaret married Anthony Armstrong-Jones, a celebrated photographer and designer who was created the first Earl of Snowdon in 1961. It was considered a modern and progressive match. Armstrong-Jones was not aristocracy by birth. He was creative, talented, and entirely outside the traditional royal mold. Their marriage attracted enormous interest from the public and considerable commentary from within royal circles. Their marriage produced 2 children. Their daughter Sarah, born in 1964, now Lady Sarah Chatto, and their son David, born in 1961, now the 2nd Earl of Snowdon. Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon separated in 1976 and divorced in 1978, the first major divorce within the immediate royal family in the modern era. It was more than a personal matter. It became a symbol of the monarchy's long and unresolved tension between private happiness and public expectation. Margaret died in February 2002, at the age of 71, just 3 months before Lady Margarita was born. Margarita never met her grandmother, but that grandmother's story runs through every dimension of the family she was born into. David Armstrong-Jones succeeded to the earldom of Snowdon in 2017, following the death of his father. He had married Serena Stanhope in 1993. Together they have 2 children, Charles, Viscount Linley, born in 1999, and Lady Margarita, born on May 14, 2002. Margarita was never styled as a princess. In keeping with the conventions of a slimmed-down monarchy, Princess Margaret's descendants were not granted HRH status. With her father holding an earldom, Margarita carries the courtesy title of Lady. Royal by blood, private citizen by title. The path Lady Margarita has taken tells you something important about who she is. The first thing worth noting is her formation. Unlike many royal-adjacent figures who navigate life primarily through their connections, Margarita pursued a serious academic track. According to sources familiar with the Armstrong-Jones family, she completed her secondary education with distinction and went on to higher education at a prestigious British institution. She approached her studies with the same seriousness her father applied to his professional life. She is, by all accounts, a focused and intellectually engaged young woman. Her father, David, has consistently maintained an independent professional career quite separate from his royal identity, including a long association with Christie's auction house. That work ethic shaped how both his children were raised. The second revelation concerns where Margarita has been appearing. Unlike Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who were tabloid fixtures in their early 20s, Margarita's name rarely surfaces in the celebrity press. That quiet is by design. In recent years, sources close to the family note that she has been quietly building a presence in London's creative and cultural circles. She has attended significant arts events and been photographed at high-profile gatherings where her composure has drawn quiet admiration from those around her. Hello magazine, covering one of her rare public appearances, described her as carrying herself with effortless poise. She has her grandmother's elegance and, by several accounts, her grandfather's genuine feeling for culture and design. That combination is not common, and it does not go unnoticed in London. The third revelation is the most significant. Sources close to the extended royal family suggest there have been quiet, informal conversations about the role Margarita's generation might one day play in supporting the crown at public engagements. There is no official plan. This is not a formal arrangement, but the slimmed-down monarchy has created a real, practical problem. Fewer working royals means fewer people available to fulfill the several hundred official engagements conducted under the royal banner each year. This is not just about ceremony. It is about whether the monarchy can maintain its institutional reach without expanding its working membership. Here is where the story becomes genuinely human. Lady Margarita Armstrong-Jones is 23 years old. She has the bloodline, the name, and the connections, and she has made a deliberate, quiet choice to live largely outside the attention those things would generate if she invited it. Her father made the same choice a generation earlier. David Armstrong-Jones has spent his career building professional credibility well apart from palace life. He is a businessman and patron, not a ceremonial presence. There is real thoughtfulness in that position. The Armstrong-Jones family watched what happened to Princess Margaret from the closest possible distance. They saw the toll that a life of public scrutiny placed on a woman who was brilliant and complex and was rarely given room to be both at the same time. There is no resentment in their distance from the front line of the monarchy, but there is an earned clarity. What makes Margarita's story compelling is not conflict, it is contrast. Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal life with global noise and considerable drama. Margarita, by all indications, never stepped toward it in the first place. She carries the name without the burden. That is not nothing. It may, in fact, be exactly what Princess Margaret never quite managed to secure for herself. Royal biographer Ingrid Seward, writing in Majesty magazine, has noted that the private relatives of the royal family often carry the emotional inheritance of the institution without any of its formal support structures. That observation fits Lady Margarita. She carries the history. She carries the name. She carries both quietly and entirely on her own terms. What Margarita's 23rd birthday tells us is this. The monarchy is not simply the senior royals visible on official occasions. It is a far larger extended family, with branches that stretch in directions the public rarely notices. Princess Margaret's granddaughter is 23 years old. She is educated, composed, and moving through London's most discerning social circles. She has inherited her grandmother's elegance and her family's principled approach to privacy. Whether that privacy remains permanent or whether circumstances eventually draw her closer to the working institution remains genuinely open. but she is worth knowing, because not every royal story is a crisis. Some of the most important stories are the quiet ones. What do you think? Should Lady Margarita consider taking on a formal royal role as the working monarchy contracts, or is her private life precisely the model the extended family should follow? Has Princess Margaret's branch of the Windsor family been treated fairly by history and by the palace? Or do they deserve greater recognition? And which lesser-known member of the royal family do you think deserves more attention from royal watchers?